Alright, welcome back to macro. Now we are going to continue on the expansionary monetary policy. Expansionary monetary policy is to achieve other objectives. Right. So let me just write down here. Another two objectives that expansionary monetary policy or other expansionary policies like expansionary fiscal policy can achieve is actually they would like to increase economic growth and they would like to increase employment. Alright? Basically, in order to use expansionary monetary policy, it will be the opposite of contractionary monetary policy. The tools are still the same. The tools they're going to use is still money supply and interest rates. However, this time it involves increasing in money supply and decreasing interest rates. Right? Again, we will go through the increasing in money supply first. In order to increase money supply, it actually refers to need to print more money. Right? So I just write down increase in money supply. It means print more money. When the Reserve Bank decided to print more money, the household, they will feel richer. Remember, you must mention and emphasize on the feel, because it's just a feeling that I feel richer but actually I'm not. What I'm going to discuss later, you will know that why I always use the word feel rather than confirm. Right? When you feel richer, even when you for example, you just strike lottery, you feel richer, you haven't actually checked whether it's correct or not, you will start to spend more on goods and services. Right? When you spend on goods and services, there's nothing wrong about that. However, the firms actually like that a lot, even though you have a lot of debts, right? Maybe you feel richer, your income increase, maybe you're just using your credit card first before you really get to feel the money. So the sales of the firms is going to increase. When the sales increase, they will need to produce more goods and services. They know that their goods and services are popular, right? So what happens is, when they produce more goods and services, they need to hire more workers. Hence, the central bank successfully achieved the first objective. One of the objectives here is to increase employment. However, the cycle does not end here. What you're going to see is when they hire more workers, the income of the workers is going to increase. Obviously, it always starts with one industry, but when the workers' income increase, they will start to spend more on restaurants. They would like to use more money to buy more goods and services, like buying more computers, iPhone, Mac. They would like to buy more houses. All this will lead to more consumption on other goods and services. Okay? When they have more consumption on other goods and services, it will lead us back to this cycle here. In the end, when national income grow, they achieve another objective, which is economic growth, right? And employment continue to increase. So the Reserve Bank successfully increased the employment and also economic growth. That's for expansionary monetary policy in terms of increase in money supply. Alright? In terms of the interest rates, again, there are many stories for you to write. So you can actually talk about increase in the savings, no, decrease in interest rates, sorry, should be decrease in interest rates, decrease in the savings interest rates. For decreased savings interest rates, now I would like to use another term compared to this one, just like I say what? Savings decrease, just like that, right? People will save more money. Always remember to paraphrase and make it more interesting. Now I would say savings appear to be less attractive. Right, expansionary is always a good thing, so I use green color. However, of course, every good thing and bad thing, they will have the opposite effects as well. But we are going to talk about that next time. So savings appears to be less attractive. As a household, when you see, for example, the savings interest rate drop from 3% to 1%, what are you going to do is actually, or even 0%, just like Japan. No, Japan is actually negative. Right, negative right now in terms of real interest rates. So what you're going to do is actually you will save lesser. When you save lesser, what are you going to use that money for? In our previous equation, you will know that if we don't save, we will spend. So consumption is going to increase. When consumption increases, you might want to look at the firms as well. What will happen to firms is they may want to increase their investment, right? Just now I talked about hiring workers, now no. Maybe I will want to change a little bit, increase investment. Increase investment, then they will need to, for example, buy more capital goods. When they buy more capital goods, again, it will lead to the sales of other industries is also increased. When the sales of other sector increase, it will also lead to income increase and then employment increase and also economic growth increase. And it will lead to another cycle. All this cycle is considered a good thing, so we call it the virtuous cycle. So next time when I talk about virtuous or vicious cycle, you should know what type of cycles am I referring to. That is for savings interest rate. As for the borrower interest rates, which means, for example, loan interest rate decrease, that's a good signal for firms. Because firms, they can now borrow more money. Of course, obviously, when we talk about borrowers interest rates here, we usually refers to firms. Don't start with consumption, then you will make everything more complicated. Right? If you start from consumption, chances are you will not end up with firms, then maybe it's not so accurate. because we want to talk a little bit about investment as well, right? So firms borrow more money to do what? To do investment, but I don't want to use the word investment again and again. So what am I going to do is, actually, when the firms have money, they will do, other than investment, what we call R&D, right? Maybe this time I would like to use the word R&D. R&D stands for, they would like to do research and development. So when they want to do research and development, just like most of the firms, they have to continue to update their softwares, their machines. They have to continue to do research on certain chemicals, a better medicine, better vaccine, right? All this requires a lot of resources that they need to pay for. So maybe they want to hire more researcher, right? Maybe if they are in mining industry, they will need to hire some scientists, how do I spell scientists? Anyway, I think you know what I mean. Right, they might need to hire more engineers. All this will lead to what? The employment increase. When employment increase, again, either they increase the salary of all of them or they hire more, regardless of which situation. Overall, the national income, remember we are not talking about one individual income, national income will increase. It will rise, and then they will start to spend more. So expenditure increase for their household stuff, for their groceries. Maybe they want to buy some luxury cars as well. So it will lead to other industries, sales increase as well. When other industries sales increase, they will also hire more workers. They will also borrow more money, do more R&D, hire more workers, and eventually it will lead to, again, employment overall to rise and economic growth is achieved as well. That is for monetary policy. Do type in the comments if you have any question regarding monetary policies. Alright. Now I move on to fiscal policy. For fiscal policy, again, we want to start with contractionary first. Fiscal policy also have two tools, right? Fiscal policy have two tools as well. So fiscal policy tools are government spending, we use G to represent, and tax, we use T to represent. Although it's also involving money, however, it's more towards the revenue and expenses of government. So this money is different from the money supply that the Reserve Bank only print money. So I will just write it full for this time. But you must remember G represent government spending and T represent tax. If they want to do contractionary, again the objective will not change. The objective is still to decrease the price level. Again, you can see that I start to use red color again. So contractionary fiscal policy involve decreasing in government spending and increasing in tax. Alright? What do I mean here? So basically what are government spending, I already mentioned it in previous episode. Government spending has three things, but the main components is about government spending on the firms to buy more or construct more public goods, right? So when the firm decided to decrease government spending, which is, for example, they want to build lesser schools or lesser hospitals, think about all those stuff that's involved, right? What do we need actually to build a school or a hospital? Type in and let me know. Yep. I guess I can see some sales decrease for cement, bricks, right? Maybe even plants. If they want to do some gardening, maybe sand, maybe some alloy, right? All these sales are going to decrease. And think about how much sales decrease for all these different industries for the firms. If the government doesn't want to buy the cement, the bricks, the plants, the sand, the alloy, right? So what happened is the firms will start to face problems, right? They will have inventories going up. Right. So the first thing they might do is they want to fire the workers because no one is going to produce anything since they still have a lot. When they fire workers, of course this can be a problem, but that is problem not for the contractionary. Fire workers, the workers' income will be affected. When the workers' income got affected, that's the problem again, right? It will lead to other type of sales decrease. Now not only cement, bricks, plants, sand, alloy. Now the computers, the cars, the house sales will also drop. Now the property sales gallery might also fire workers, right? The car dealer might also fire workers and lead to income decrease and the sales decrease. Ultimately, what's the main objective? Remember to link back the objective. All these sales decrease, they will give discounts and then it will lead to price level decrease. Hopefully they achieve the objective, which is between 1 and 3%. Right, that is for contractionary in government spending. For tax, we have more stories to talk. For tax, basically you can talk about three stories, which are income tax, corporate tax, and also consumer tax. Each of them start from different point. Ultimately, it will lead to the same vicious cycle. That's why I use red color. Right. So we can start from income tax first. For income tax to increase, you might feel the pain. Right. For income tax, usually we talk about disposable income. Like, what is disposable income? This is another question that you need to know in chapter 2 or in other chapters. Disposable income, we use YD to represent. It just means that income minus tax. Y minus T. Right? If income tax increase, it means that the overall disposable income that the consumers get will be lesser. Right? Because YD is on the left hand side. So when disposable income become lesser, obviously they are going to consume less. Okay, the firm's going to feel the pain. The firm's sales will drop. They will again give discounts. When they give discounts, hooray! For one good is price decrease. For many goods, price level decrease. And the vicious cycle goes on and on and on. For corporate tax, you need to look at different perspective, right? Corporate tax. So when corporate tax increase, what happened is they were now okay. So after the corporate tax, what they get is always what we call retained earnings. You see, again, I would like to change some of the words. Alright, retained earnings, or they will use the retained earnings to do R&D. Okay, basically after the net profit, they can do two things. One is retained earnings for R&D. This is a little bit of accounting. Another thing is they will pay it as dividend. So we will not focus on dividend too much. We will focus on retained earnings. Retained earnings, they can do R&D or investment, right? Just consider all this. Corporate tax increase means what? They will have lesser retained earnings, so they will decrease their investment, they will decrease their R&D, and it will lead to fire more. Now the scientists, the engineers, the lab assistants, okay, even the sales of the tools that are used to do research. For example, what? Bunsen burner, right? Fire more workers as well as the sales of Bunsen burner, right? Hopefully it rings some bell, or some chemical sales, some coloring for textile industry. All of the sales will go down, right? When the sales goes down again, they would like to do some promotion. Maybe they give you some offer. Maybe they give you even more discounts when you do bulk purchasing because they want to get rid of their inventories. All these are actually what? They are actually price level decrease. Okay, that is for corporate tax. For the last one is consumer tax. Consumer tax in different economies, they are named differently. For consumer tax, in Malaysia it used to be GST. New Zealand and Australia are still using GST, and some other countries as well. Now Malaysia is SST. For UK is VAT. For different countries there are different names. Basically, it's when you consume certain goods, you have to pay certain tax. Consumer tax increase will also lead to straight away you will buy lesser, because now, including the tax, the price has already increased. Obviously, there's a little bit conflating. They want the price level to decrease, however, they want to increase the price first so that you don't buy. That is the dilemma of government. That's why I always say government, they are nonsense, right? Buy lesser, so the only cure for you to buy lesser is to increase the price first, so that later on you can decrease the price. What type of nonsense is this? Right, buy lesser, because why? Because all these GST, SST, VAT will add up to higher prices. So higher prices will lead you to buy lesser. Then only when you buy lesser, the sales drop. So you will maybe watch lesser movies. Sing lesser karaoke. Right. You may stop subscribing to Netflix. You will buy lesser skin for your LOL, Mobile Legend, PUBG. Right, all this will lead to what? What happened to their sales? The sales drop. Maybe they would like to close certain branch, close down the branch, or they will do outsourcing. So they no longer want to hire anyone in your country. But they outsource this to other countries. Like Malaysia Airlines used to outsource it to India. So sometimes, or other countries that I have no idea, sometimes their slang sounds weird, right? Outsourcing. All this will lead to what? The own country employment to go down. However, they don't care because their main objective now is to decrease price level, and the income goes down, and in the end, price level will go down. That's for consumer tax. Okay, now I will move on to the last part, which is expansionary fiscal policy. Expansionary fiscal policy can consider a good thing, can consider a bad thing, but I'm still going to use green color. Right. For expansionary fiscal policy, the objective is still seen as expansionary monetary policy. The objective is to do what? Is actually to increase employment and to increase economic growth. In order to do that, they need to do the opposite of contraction, which is increase in government spending and decrease in tax. So again, we will start with government spending first. So now this time, the government feel the unlimited wants of the riders of bicycle without brakes. Wow, they see a lot of demand for that. Government decide. Government has nothing to do. Government want to protect all these supermen that ride bicycles without brakes. So what government do? Government want to build a stadium. For this, in Malay, is called Laja. Right. That's nonsense. Why the government protect this type of illegal person? But anyway, government might want to build a stadium. So what do we need for a stadium if the government decide to do that? Again, think about what we need for stadium. We need tiles for the flooring. We need seats. We need roads for the Superman and Superwoman that like to ride without bikes, right? Seats are like plastics. The roads, tiles, sand, right? All this will increase in sales. So because government is always the biggest buyer, they have a lot of money. Although your country doesn't have any money, but they still spend money. Sales increase for all these different stuff. So what happened? All these factories, when they look at government is buying from them, they're very happy But in order to fulfill the projects, the sales numbers, they have to start to predict and start to hire more workers, either skilled, either unskilled labor, hire more workers, and it will lead to what? The first objective. The first objective is to increase unemployment, right? Hire more workers. Then after that, what happened? Income increase. When income increase, obviously the workers are not going to buy tiles, seats, plastic, and tiles and sand. When income increase, they are going to maybe they would like to go to what? Eat burger 460. Wow. Like, right? Eat burger more burger 460 for them. Consumption increase, and overall it will lead to all the other industries. Burger 460 maybe raw materials, flour, buns, patties, all this sales increase for all these raw materials supplied to restaurants, also increase the cakes and others. So all this will lead to hiring more, and overall it will lead to economic growth. All right. So that's for government spending. Then last three would be about decreasing in tax. I will talk about decreasing. All these are known as what? Virtuous cycle. Remember that. It's a good thing. Obviously, they also have negative effects, but we are not going to cover that. Virtuous cycle, and this time they're going to, for example, if they don't like to increase government spending, they can decrease income tax. When they decrease income tax, suddenly the citizens, those who are employees, normally income tax refers to employees, they see that they have more income to spend. Which refers to the disposable income increase. When they have more income to spend, normally they don't save too much because they know every month they're going to get more income. So maybe they would like to buy stuff. Maybe they want to buy a luxury travel package. Right? Maybe they would like to buy a bungalow. Maybe they want to buy some fancy dress. Maybe they just want to eat big bowl noodles. Right? All this stuff will lead to what? Overall, consumption increase. Consumption increase, what happened next? Again, sales will increase. Sales doesn't mean it must be discounts or this. Sales as in just in the sales number, right? The number of transaction increase. So don't always think that sales must be promotion discounts. It can be that, but the sales that I mean here is actually the sales number increase, the revenue of the firms increase, right? Revenue of firms increase. They see that there's a lot of prospects. Maybe they want to build a factory, a new factory, and this will involve a lot of workers, construction workers hiring increase, and in the end, income increase. So again, they achieve that hiring of workers increase and also economic growth. So you can see how I link stuff. I can link to consumers, I can link to suppliers, I can link to firms, Depends on how linked. Everyone's story should be a little bit different from each other. So I don't believe in you get the same type of essays or same story. Right. The next two will actually be the corporate tax decrease. When corporate tax decrease, this time you can straight away link to maybe investment, right? Investment increase, like they need to, what else in capital that you can think of? Other than building factories, doing research and development, think of something else. For example, they just want to buy a new tractor for farmers. They want to buy a new machine. They want to buy new tools. All these, although mostly are nowadays automated, but still require person to click the button or push the button, right? Push the button, and they still need to hire some workers, right? When they hire workers, what happened? Employment increase. All these workers are not going to just save all their money. No one in the world will save 100% of their money, right? They will save lesser and they'll spend more. When they spend more, again, not going to spend on tractors, machines, and new tools. They're going to buy whatever they want. The wants increase, right? The sales increase. When the sales increase, what happened? Hiring more, economic growth. Another virtuous cycle. The last piece will be the consumer tax. Consumer tax, for example, I will use GST, decrease, right? GST decrease, wow. For the consumers, it looks like all the price of goods and services suddenly, it looks like a discount or promotion. Does it make sense? It looks like discounts and promotion, right? When they are cheaper, for example, during one period in Malaysia, suddenly before they change government, transition period, they suddenly want to announce a new SST. They suddenly have zero GST. That's like buying at a bargain, right? So in the end, I buy one iPhone during that period. So I bought iPhone. Actually, I buy two, but anyway, my iPhone increase. Maybe iPhone need more customer service because now more people own iPhone, so they need to hire more customer service. Maybe they need more repair stuff, right? They also need to manufacture more charger, adapter, right? Cables. They need to increase their manufacturing of all this stuff. Then they need to hire more workers, and then income increase. So when the income increase, what happens? Again, not everyone is going to buy iPhone only, right? They might buy other stuff. Maybe they buy Samsung. Maybe they buy a loud stereo speaker for their party. Maybe they drink more. I don't want to talk about party. Party is forbidden in Malaysia. Maybe they buy more bicycles without brakes. Wow, I like that. Maybe they buy more bicycles without brakes. Without brakes, right? Maybe they just want to pay someone to slap someone. Wow. and recently they pay someone, they don't pay someone, but they still pay someone to punch someone, or slap or punch, doesn't matter. So they have this money, they have nowhere to spend, they just really pay someone on stage to slap someone, who knows. And in the end, regardless of what is the scenario, in the end, economy will grow, right? That's what I meant by the word yes. Okay, that's all for today. I think that it's 40 minutes. Around 40 minutes is more than enough. So I'll see you next time.